Welcome back to episode number 3 of my series about becoming a bikini competitor. Today we're going to be looking at understanding why it is you want to compete. A really good episode, jam-packed with plenty of information and so much that I want to share with you guys. If you do enjoy this video, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to alert you every time I post a new video every Monday. If you watched last week's video, I gave an overview into the initial 5 stages I truly believe that you should look to take when becoming a competitor. Today we're going to be looking at stage number 1. I really do hope that by the end of this video you'll be able to relate as to why understanding why you want to compete in the first place is going to be such a big facilitator to your success in the sport of bodybuilding. I thought we could put a bit of a spin on it today. We're going to use the letters that make up the word understand to give us 10 reasons why competing could be for you. We're going to start with making this unique. By making this journey your journey, it makes it unique to you. You are your own person. You've got your own history, your own current situation. And by recognizing that, and tailoring this journey to what it is you want to achieve, you can commit and dedicate yourself to this sport a hell of a lot more. By taking on board where you are currently starting, yes, we have aspirations and we want to achieve certain things, but by remembering to make this journey unique to you and understanding what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, how you can work on each individual element that's going to build into you becoming a competitor, it's going to make this so much more of a journey for you to continue in the long term. If you follow someone else's journey, you try and do your best, but you're not sure, lots of different ways to look at it, you can end up going into your first prep, compete once, and then sack it off because it's been not enjoyable, you've been lost along the way, you perhaps don't get the result you want from your first show, and you end up thinking, fuck this, I don't want to do it anymore. I've dieted, I've trained, I've done so many different things to get to show day, and depending on what your result is, ultimately, if this hasn't been a journey of learning, something you've committed to, something you've maybe even enjoyed, it's going to be very hard to potentially do this over and over again because prep is bloody hard and it's a choice. Most of what you need to do to become a competitor is going to be through your own choices, through your own commitment to the sport. And this is why, if we can remember that you are your own person, that this journey is unique to you, it's going to help you continue, start in the first place, and then look back and relish every moment that got you to each of your shows. Every bit of commitment you put into the sport has been down to you. I now want you to consider nourishing your goal and yourself. Embarking on a journey to become a competitor requires a hell of a lot of dedication to the sport. If you want to get good at this, and if there's potential for you to turn pro, if you want to compete for several years, you're going to be going through a hell of a lot of physical and mental resilience and a lot of different feelings throughout your journey as a competitor. When you prep, you go through times of training a lot, being in a calorie deficit for long periods of time. When you're in an off season, you're becoming uncomfortable, you're gaining fat as well as muscle. Especially for a female, that can be quite hard to digest. So every end of the spectrum that you're in as a bodybuilder has its own challenges. If you can notice this, nourish yourself. Know that this is a journey. It's a path that you have chosen to take. If you can be willing to learn and also nourish your journey. Here you start. Maybe you've done nothing in the way of training at all, like I did myself, touching on 7 years ago. You're a little bean and you grow, you grow, you grow. And you're nourishing yourself along the way. It's going to make this journey far more enjoyable than if you turn into, like I have myself as well, a prep robot, a bodybuilder robot, where it's all about ticking boxes, but you don't actually go through the connection that you can get with the sport. Sometimes when you're in prep, there's going to be times where you need to beeline and just focus on ticking those boxes. But at times where you can actually enjoy the process, you can take a moment to look around, enjoy the world as it is, as well as being a bodybuilder. Know that in prep, at times of hunger, you're nourishing a goal to get stage lean. You're going to need to be hungry at times. Again, with off season, if you're uncomfortable, you're full, you're feeling it's really tough psychologically to deal with that. Know that gaining muscle and being in an off season for an extended period of time, when you prep again, the changes are going to be there, we hope. And you're able to reflect and know that by committing to different phases throughout your bodybuilding journey, you are becoming a stronger athlete. Noticing this is going to help you enjoy that process a little bit more. D is dedication. You need to dedicate yourself to this sport if you want to be successful. If you want to give it a crack, see what happens, fine, by all means. But this series is focused around becoming a bikini competitor and also me sharing my knowledge to help that be a successful journey. I truly believe that if anyone of you can dedicate time to this sport, that you can achieve great things. And if you've been watching all my different videos, if you know me, I am an advocate of that. I started off with no experience at all in the sport of bodybuilding, and I now compete as a pro, and I'm 5 weeks out from my pro debut. So I'm living proof that if you can dedicate yourself to something, you can achieve. The next one is effort. Your training and your nutrition in particular require effort. It's going to make you a far more efficient competitor if you can understand what it takes to get your food on track, to fit your training into your lifestyle, and also to consider things like being a competitor, you need to look at posing practice, you need to facilitate progress photos, doing your measurements, recording stats. Lots of different things. I find that I'm able to diarise these things just mentally, and I know I need to do, Monday I do my photos, Tuesday I do legs and I do some cardio. All the different things that I build into my lifestyle. I know that each day brings certain things that require effort and acknowledgement. If you train half-assed, if you food prep half-assed, if you pose half-assed, I'd imagine that when you get to show day, it's going to be half-assed. If you want to commit to this and do well, effort is going to be your best friend. Now, what I want you to consider is combining all 4 of those points that I've already raised and take that into what that's going to give you. R is standing for reward. If you can commit to this sport for the right reasons, you are going to be rewarded every single day. Every day that you face a challenge, every time you're able to commit to the sport of bodybuilding, every time you evolve, every time you learn, you are rewarded. You are feeding your own empowerment to become stronger in yourself mentally and physically. You're facilitating your success as a competitor. In life, rewards are seen in many different ways. Now, being part of a sport that is hugely reliant on your aesthetics, we are rewarded generally in a prep by getting leaner, and in an off season by growing and gaining muscle. And it's about getting your head around what reward you're looking to gain as a competitor and how that's going to fuel you to continue in each phase that you find yourself in. And that will bring fuel to your overall understanding as to why you want to compete in the first place. If you set targets in place and you understand why you're doing this, rewards are going to come by the bucket load. Before we move on, it would be awesome if any of you guys looking to become a competitor would comment below and tell me why it is you want to start your journey to becoming a bodybuilder. When I was looking at S, there's lots of different things we could consider, one being success. But what I want to do is go a little bit deeper as to what the sport of bodybuilding could potentially bring you. I myself have taken so much self-respect and self-belief from my journey as a bodybuilder. I cannot tell you what it's done for me in terms of how I feel about myself. When I released the video sharing my story, I spoke about periods of being bullied at school and hard times through my teenage years, not really knowing who I was and what I wanted to be, but having a feeling that I could be good at something. And bodybuilding has taught me that I can be good at something. I've excelled in my field and it feels so good to even say that today. The complexities of becoming a competitor can feel so overwhelming when you're starting your journey. There's so much that you need to think about, and it's how are you even going to fit that into your lifestyle? Are you going to be good enough? How are you going to look in a bikini? And it's all of these things that contribute to you gaining that self-respect, the self-belief that will help you continue your journey as a competitor. And I really do believe that that could be a big reason for you to even consider becoming an athlete in the sport of bodybuilding. It also helps you to build tolerance. Now, one of my reasons that I've continued in this sport is because of the requirements of perseverance, the depths that prep in particular have taken me to. It fuels a incentive for me to want to know more. Can I dig harder? Can I push myself more? Can I lift more? Can I look better? There's so many different challenges that you can face when competing. There's never really a moment where you can get bored, to be honest. In off season, it's can I gain muscle? So potentially you can do more in the gym. You can facilitate when you're next in prep and you next get to your stage condition looking better. So even though you may be uncomfortable because you're gaining body fat as well when you're in your calorie surplus through that period of time in an off season, you can focus your energies more on the gym. Whereas when you're in prep, you can build tolerance to hunger, psychological challenges that you face when you're in a deficit. You can build tolerance to working on your cardiovascular, which you don't do as much in an off season. So every single phase has lots of different things where you can test your own ability. When you consider why you want to become a competitor, is accountability one of the things that you could potentially gain? I personally think it's a big part of being a competitor. Even if you don't work with a coach, you're going to need to be accountable to have any success in this sport. If you, like I've mentioned before, put half the effort in, you're going to get potentially half of what you could look to achieve through this sport. So becoming accountable by tracking what you eat, by completing your training plan each week, by doing lots of different things that contribute to your success as a bodybuilder, this should be one of your biggest reasons to want to compete in the first place, I truly believe. Committing and becoming accountable and enjoying that fact is going to be a much better way to look at this sport as a lifestyle and as something you can commit to for years at a time. So we've covered 8 big points there, and we arrive at N. And for me, there's lots of different things this could have been, but one of my biggest sayings is never give up. And honestly, truly, the sport of bodybuilding has unleashed a completely different reality for me. Every training session where I think, can I do this? Every prep where I think, am I going to get to show day? I've always managed to get there. And it's given me strength and a determination that I maybe thought I had but wasn't sure. And now I know I do. Never giving up for me is such a big statement that rings true every single day for me as a bodybuilder and competitor. I'm facing challenges every day of my life and I bloody love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. So never giving up for me is a reason to be a competitor. And here we arrive at number 10, which is depth. For me, I wanted to become a competitor because I wanted to see what I could achieve. And it's been phenomenal. I have personally found that my depth as a human being, as a person, as a character, has multiplied tenfold. I've got so many memories, experiences, so many things that I've come through as a bodybuilder that will fill my story already so much. And I've still got so many years to come. And it excites me. It gives depth to my life, to my being. I am constantly striving for the next part of my journey, and I love it. But I'm also present and I'm in the moment of being Sarah, of being a bodybuilder, of being a pro bikini competitor, of being a wife. There's lots of different things that I can take into my life from what I've learned as a bodybuilder. Having that depth to my character now and all of those memories for me are really, really important. And I think that if you can sit and watch this video and think, is there more to life? Is there more to me and my ability? Then that could be a very big reason for you to look at becoming a bikini competitor. I really hope you've got a lot from this episode, guys. It's been really good to talk about stage 1 of what I truly believe are the 5 initial stages to becoming a bikini competitor. It's been really nice to put a personal spin on something that can often be overlooked. Learning what it is you want to achieve and understanding why you want to be a competitor in the first place. Next week, I'm going to talk about getting a coach and why I feel that's incredibly important to your journey as a competitor. So I look forward to sharing that episode with you. Before we clock out, I'm going to give you an update into how my own prep is going as I get so much closer to my next bodybuilding show. Touching base with my current setup. My training has all remained the same. I have 5 weight sessions and I do 1,800 calories worth of cardio per week. My intake, so nutrition wise, my calories are around the 1540 mark, protein is 160, carbohydrates are 140 and fats are 40. And I have 1 refeed day a week where my carbs go up nicely to 300, which is a good day. Everything is ticking along nicely, the magic is happening, and ultimately, the closer I get to the show, yes, it is getting harder, but I am so determined to not let this bring me down. Every day that I find hard, I reflect, I pace, and I move forward. I'm so close now, and I want to keep that zest there for my show and the excitement that I felt all the way through. Those little bubbles of hope, of determination, of focus, of excitement towards what is going to be a big, big day for me. Every day that I am challenged, I'm pushing through, and I know that I've got this. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to speaking to you next week. Remember guys, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, which I post every Monday. For now, peace out, and I will see you next week.